Welcome back to my channel. The subject I'm going to discuss today is the concept of soul and oversoul. In Indian languages, they're called Atma and Paramatma. So, in fact, in Hindu religion, there are three schools of thought. First being Adi Shankara's Adwaitha, second is Madhvacharya's Dwaitha, third is Ramanuja's Visistadvaitha. The first philosophy, which is called the Vedanta, Vedanta literally means the end of Veda, meaning end of knowledge, kind of, meaning the highest philosophy, the philosophy that lies above all. So, what does Advaita say? The Advaita Siddhanta proposed by Adi Shankara says that the soul and oversoul are one and the same. In Indian language, Atma and Paramatma are one and the same. Coming to Dwaitha school of thought, or Dwaitha Siddhanta proposed by Madhvacharya, it says soul and oversoul are different. Soul can never become oversoul. In the sense, Atma and Paramatma are both different and they can never be one. That is clear distinction, clear cut separation of soul and oversoul. Then comes the third school of thought, which is Visistadvaitha, proposed by Ramanujacharya. Visistadvaitha says soul and oversoul are same but maintain different identities. Atma and Paramatma are one and the same, but yet the God has a distinct shape. That is, they worship Vishnu as the God. Vishnu is otherwise known as Narayana. So this Narayana is real. Though the soul, Atma, can join the Paramatma, the Paramatma is a real concept. In Adwaita of Shankaracharya, he says the soul and the oversoul, Atma and Paramatma, are both one and the same. Meaning, once you die, you join the Brahman. Brahman is nothing but the Paramatma. One of the basic differences in these schools of thought is Advaita. In Advaita, the Brahman is supposed to be Shiva, Adi Shiva, and in Visistadvaitha, the Brahman or the universe is supposed to be Narayana or Vishnu. That's one difference. And then in the Visistadvaitha, Vishnu is supposed to be a real entity, meaning the soul, when it dies, it can join the Paramatma or the Narayana, but Narayana maintains his own identity. That is the difference between these three schools. Of course, in Dwaitha, there is no ambiguity. It says the soul is different, the our soul is different, and they can They cannot be the same. Now, last time when I basically told you about certain schools of thought, in the sense I explained the how the one or the source, as we call it in the Gnostic school of thought, the source has two spouses, CGGs or spouses. One is the Holy Ghost, and the other is Black Madonna. And I already explained that the most of the religions that worship sun worship Black Madonna. In the sense, sun is supposed to be the SON son of Black Madonna, who is called Kali in Hindu mythology, and other names in other mythologies. So, Holy Ghost is, on the other hand, is different. And I told you the one is actually 16 cube or 4096, the fourth sun, the Chaturtha Aditya. So this fourth sun, the child of or the son, SON son of this fourth sun, 4096, and Holy Ghost is Son of Man. In the sense, this is kind of Christ figure, whereas this is the our sun itself. And now I want to explain the concept of soul and oversoul. That is, in Sanskrit, we call soul the Atma and oversoul the Paramatma. So, when we say soul, here in this green sphere, this is the green sphere is the one in which we live. This is the present world. So in this present world, the soul, when one dies, joins the sun. That is 64 here. Just below this, we have a small sun symbol, and which is nothing but 4 cube or 64. So when a soul, when one dies, here his soul joins 64 or the sun. And this whole, this sphere itself is made up of five elements. That is the Panchabhutas, as we call in Sanskrit. The 5 elements, basic elements. Life is made out of 5 different elements. So, earth, water, fire, wind, and of course, soul. That soul is 64 here. So, when the body, one dies, his body is disintegrated into the kenoma, which is the sphere, into earth itself, from which it was made originally, but the soul joins the sun, 64. Okay. If we call the sun the soul here, the super soul or the oversoul, there's a difference between SuperSoul and OverSoul. OverSoul is sun here. OverSoul for this sphere, the green sphere here is the sun, that is 64. So once the soul dies, when the soul leaves the body here, he joins the local oversoul of sun, that is 64. And this is super soul, Paramatma, that is 4096. So the three philosophy schools of thought differ in the way that the Dwaitha Siddhanta says the soul and oversoul, the supersoul, are entirely different. This soul can never reach supersoul. It will always be in the sphere only, the green sphere. And Adwaitha says when this soul leaves the body here, this soul directly joins this super soul, in the sense there is no difference between this soul and this super soul, meaning all the souls join the super soul or the Brahman. And the third school of thought, the Visistadvaitha, or the what do you call, in special Advaita, let us say. Visistadvaitha is special Advaita, non-dualism, qualitative non-dualism, in the sense Visistadvaitha says this soul and this soul, as in Advaita, are one and the same. The soul joins the oversoul, or the super soul, but this super soul maintains its identity. In the sense, it's a special case. Though these two are made of same material, this soul joins this super soul. Super soul still retains its identity, which is Narayana or Vishnu. So here, this 4096 is called the Vishnu or the Narayana. He maintains his identity, though the soul can break this barrier of this green sphere. It can join the other blue sphere, the largest sphere. It can join, but still these two will be different. It can rise above this green sphere and break this matrix or grid and enter the sphere, but these two maintain different identities. So the God will always be different, and the soul can see the God, join him, but God will always maintain his own identity. That is, I just wanted to explain these three schools of thought in my theory, according to my theory. So you should clearly understand the concept of soul and oversoul, super soul, super oversoul. In the sense, here soul is self, Atma. And this Atma, when it leaves body, it joins the oversoul of this particular sphere or the local realm. It remains in this local realm, according to Dwaitha. But this is super soul, and the souls which are born in this region, the largest sphere, they join this oversoul. Then 4096 becomes the oversoul for the souls which live in this sphere. This becomes a oversoul. In the sense, this whole thing is relative. In the sense, for a soul from this sphere, the least sphere, this is the super soul or Paramatma. And there will be naturally this process continues, evolves, goes on evolving. There will be another sun who is greater than 4096. Then this 4096 will become the soul then, and the next sun will become super soul. Meaning, those who die, these souls which leave body, then that is, let us say, we call them gods or the angels. When these angels leave their body, they reach they are absorbed into the SuperSun, which is above 4096. Whatever SuperSun we have, they join that SuperSun. That becomes the oversoul of these souls. So you should be very clear about what is soul, what is SuperSoul, and what is oversoul for this soul, what is oversoul for this soul. Then you will realize that it is an infinite process. That is why they say the Brahman is Ananta, meaning never ending reality. Brahman is nothing but ultimate reality, and that reality is never ending, and only the barriers that we created on our own, these fears, they're not just barriers we created, they are in fact physical barriers. Physical barriers which can be broken only when you uh, basically achieve uh, intellectual maturity to break this level. For example, if you want to break this level, you have to attain a frequency greater than 64. Otherwise, you will join this sun, who is the oversoul for this region again. So, and similarly, if you want to break this sphere and go upper into the upper reality, that is the Brahman, higher reality, then you have to basically achieve a frequency 4096, above 4096. As long as you have the frequency equal or less than 4096, you will remain in this. You will, once you leave the body, you will again join this oversoul, which is 4096. So if you want to go higher and higher, you have to achieve the frequency necessary for that region. So yeah, I hope I made it. The subject is little confusing for the beginners, but once you pay attention and try to understand, concentrate, then you will understand what I mean to say here. The three schools of thought. The Dwaitha says this green sphere and the blue sphere are completely sealed off. The souls from this green sphere cannot enter the blue spheres. Adwaitha says soul, once it leaves this green sphere, leaves the body in this sphere, it directly joins the sphere, the soul. The third one, Visistadvaitha, says once the soul leaves his body in the sphere, provided he is qualified, he can as well enter the sphere. And but this oversoul, the will be super soul, and he will maintain his identity. He cannot join this super soul. Yeah, that is those are the main differences according to my theory. So I hope you'll find it to your taste and hopefully understand what I meant to say. Thank you very much for watching the video. Bye for now.